Hey, ghouls and gals, and welcome back to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. I'm Matt, obviously. Today I was joined by Denver's own The Lurchers, Matt and David, and we got to talk about the band, talk about their influences, some of the roadblocks they ran into, and just this amazing journey that the Lurchers have been on. In the episode, I did say that this is episode number 5. Actually, this is episode number 6, so that's my mistake. I apologize. This is episode number 6 of the BandShowCase episodes. It was a great time getting to know them. It was fun to hang out with them and to talk to them. And, yeah, they're just really cool guys and give off a really cool vibe. And, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Welcome everyone back to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast Band Showcase episode number 5, I believe. I'm Matt, and today I'm joined by the amazing The Lurchers, Matt and David. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So, thank you for coming and sitting in and being our first Band Showcase episode of 2019. So, this is exciting. This is great.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. At the time, this is before New Year's Eve that we're recording this, so there's a little bit of irony, some funniness to that. But let's jump right into it. So, the Lurchers, Denver punk rock. Who are the Lurchers? How did you guys come to be?
We've been around for about a year and a half now, maybe 2. I think it's been 2. This guy over here, David, is probably our 5th drummer, hopefully our last.
Yeah, I'm just a new guy. I'm the ringer.
And he's a pounder, putting in the work. But we started from a Craigslist ad, actually, that Eli, the guitar player,
Oh, wow.
said looking for a singer for a hardcore punk band. And I was like, I want to be in a hardcore punk band. So I responded and jammed with him and this other drummer named Aaron. And then later on, we brought John, the bass player, who was Eli's buddy from way back. And we've been with John ever since. And we're a pretty tight unit these days. Just trying to climb that ladder.
Right on. When I was checking out your music on Bandcamp live at CIA, you definitely have a very underground hardcore punk sound, and I love that. That's always been my favorite go-to. So Total Chaos to Casualties, just to those bands it makes me think of.
Sure.
And so when I heard you guys playing, I heard you playing live, I was not only impressed, but just it brought me back to that. It brought me back to that gritty punk rock in your face kind of feel. Was that always the decision to go that route with it, or did you guys have to work your way to finding your sound?
I think that just happened naturally based on all our influences. All the songs basically stem from Eli's guitar line.
Okay.
And then everything else comes from that. And it seemed they're 50-50. Some of them are more rock and roll-y punk songs, but others are the more old school hardcore. That's kind of what hits me and probably David the most. Just the fast, aggression.
The heavier, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of a sludge guy at heart.
Oh, all right.
But, this is the type of music I grew up on. Is learned how to play the drums.
Nice.
And all the old D-beat type stuff. So
nice.
It's bringing it all back home for me.
So
unfortunately, on those recordings you're mentioning, he's not on there captured.
Yeah, that's before the CIA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's before
Yeah.
I've been in the band for about a year.
Oh, okay.
Just the beginning of this year.
I think so.
2018.
Yeah, that
so it's
sounds
been
right.
about a year.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And he's brought a whole new. He's taken us up a bunch of notches in that hardcore realm for sure. We're loud live.
Yeah.
Just because we've got to get our volume up to a level where we could match his drums.
I mean, you gotta be punk about it.
Totally.
So was there a direct inspiration that you guys wanted to bring into the band, or an influence of any sort?
Well, I think my basic influences, I realized this a few days ago. It's they're all B's for whatever reason. My main influences, it's Beatles, Black Sabbath, Bad Brains, The Bronx, Beastie Boys. They're hardcore stuff I love. Bugazzi.
Aglio-olio.
Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah.
And some old bullshit, stuff like that.
Nice. And that's really just interesting to hear you just mention the Beatles. out of all those, because Black Sabbath makes sense, Bad Brains makes sense, but the Beatles, like, that's a really interesting choice for what influences you, and I think that's
growing up.
Yeah.
Some of
Dad
those John
playing
Lennon
records.
songs are pretty heavy. Well, they both, Sean and Paul both wrote some heavy stuff that's in there.
They were pretty
Lyrically.
anti-establishment back in the
Yeah.
day. Like, they're very low-key about it.
Totally. And that's what my parents had playing growing up. And I'm a lyricist, so taking it from that perspective, like, some of that stuff's really deep and meaningful, hidden meanings and stuff like that.
Well, and it makes sense that, like, the Beatles would influence a punk band because, like we just said, like, you know, back then, and again, they're very anti-establishment, very against what was going on in the world, and so that just makes sense to what influences you guys.
Totally.
Did you write the lyrics for the song My Own Eyes?
Yes.
So, because I was going to say, that's what I was thinking of, because that song really stuck out to me when I was listening to your content. It was just My Own Eyes. Like, it's just, I don't know what about it that really stuck to me, but it really stood out. I'm not saying that none of the other songs don't stand out either, but that was the one that really connected with me.
Sure. I think when I wrote it, it was like you were saying, like when we were listening to it at the studio, it's like just my take on skepticism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like,
got to be
you can't believe
healthy
everything they tell you.
Is good.
Yeah, and I see it in my daughter too. Like, I could tell her a million facts about the world, but she doesn't really believe me until she sees it herself.
Yeah.
And that's just always what I've had programmed in my brain.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen a lot of people tell me one thing, and then I've seen, well, it's the complete opposite, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullshit going on.
Well, and coming back to punk rock, that's always been the case of punk, right? Is you see the world for what it actually is. That's what the music's always been about, is seeing the world for what's really kind of going on between the lines, you know? Because we're the underbelly of society in that aspect. And so, coming back to the Lurchers, I think that's why I really wanted to bring you guys on. Me and Cody both wanted to bring you on to be our 21st BandShowCase episode, was because you guys really bring that back. You really bring back this whole idea and feel of, let's poke holes at the world around us, because now more than ever, we really need to do that. You know, with you know, who's in power and who's running the show at this point, we need that. And so,
exactly. This is like my cleansing. Like, I'm a really nice guy,
right.
You know, day to day, ethical, moral person. Hold doors for ladies, you know, whatnot. But this is
Very
my
chivalrous.
release. Yeah. But I'm like constantly collecting negative data from the world around me, and I have to release it somehow.
You got to purge through ritual.
Exactly. Instead of like whipping myself in the back room or some weird tradition, I just gotta let it out with words.
Like underneath a church, whipping yourself in the back.
Exactly.
Self-flagellation. Some cathartic release.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's totally my release, and lyrics are like, the whole process is like so spiritual and fulfilling.
Right on.
And I couldn't write any other way. Like, it's just I can't write love songs. I've tried, and my wife is upset about it for years. It just isn't coming from the place that, you know, that I have to unload. Because I'm already unloading the love all the time.
Yeah.
That's natural, but I gotta unload the hate.
Well, you don't want to release the love. You got to hold on to that.
Yeah.
You won't have any left over. You got to get rid of the hate.
Nurture it. You gotta release the hate, or you're just gonna get cancer or something.
But I mean, you gotta write from where it comes from. You gotta write where you're most creative, and not saying that you can't write love songs, but there is a definite truth to where you have to write from anger, because that's more honest, that's more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And as an artist, that's where you project yourself. Is where you're at your most morbidly comfort zone, which in this case would be anger. I mean, and there's, you know, more power to you, man. David, do you share the same aspect of that, or where do you get your inspiration?
I mean, yeah, I get kind of riled up when we play, I guess. I have to, otherwise it's not going to, you know, happen. So that's what I love about playing the drums, is that it's completely physical.
Yeah.
And so by the time we're done with the show, that's it for me.
You should see this guy. He has to strip down, or
I actually did saw your show at Skanksgiving.
Okay, awesome.
I saw you on the drums, and you came up and you were so calm, and I was just like, is this guy, like, is he gonna be all right? Like, he's pretty calm about this. And then when you started damn, you were hitting it hardcore, man. I was like, whoa.
And he
gotta wait.
unleashes like 5 gallons of sweat. It's crazy.
Yeah, like, more straight up, man. You hit it hard. I was really like, you blew me away. I mean, the Lurchers in general blew me away, but
I come from a background of like a lot of doom and noise and free jazz and sludge and whatever, just playing as loud as possible. My band back in Texas has lots of speakers. We just blow the doors off. We try to. So I've always just played really loud music, since I was in high school or whatever, and that's what I get from music, is like a physical and like physiological release.
Yeah, it takes you to a place where you can harness your, that release that you keep pent up all your life,
Yeah.
I think that's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, and it's definitely helps. Like, if this comes out after January 1st, I'll be 16 months sober, so I don't drink anymore, and I focus all my energy just on drums.
Well, congratulations, man.
Yeah, this is one of a handful of projects, but it's definitely it's the one that brings the most, gets me there.
Hey, congratulations, man. Seriously, more power to you. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and his drum release brings something out of me too that I haven't had before from other bands. Like, we get into it. Like, I feed off of that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty physical when I perform too, and just having him being at 110% pushes me to be at 110%.
Yeah, nobody's going to care about it if we don't care about it. So,
exactly. Like, whether there's like no people in the crowd, one person, or there's like 2,000, it doesn't matter. They're all going to get the same amount of physicality.
Yeah, I would say seeing you guys play live, there is a very apparent synergy between, the four of you when you guys are playing. Like, there's this definite, like, I would go on to say that, like, you kind of don't care who's in the room because you guys are playing for yourselves, and it seems like everyone feeds off that and they want to hear more and they want to hear you guys get louder and get faster.
Gotta leave them wanting more.
Yeah, you gotta leave them wanting more, and that goes back to what you're saying, David. Is you guys gotta feel it, basically.
Yeah,
you guys gotta enjoy it.
It's more than just listening to something at a bedroom volume and
Exactly. And I've been in a lot of bands before, and they're all awesome, and I loved them all, but something about this band in particular brings something new to me that I haven't experienced before. And it's strange because the four of us together are not really that similar. We have all completely different backgrounds, completely different musical influences.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities too. But just whatever it is with the synergy of the four of us, it's something.
Right.
I hate to say magic, but
yeah,
witchcraft,
magic only
maybe?
affects those who believe in it.
Yeah, I just always feel like anticipating what's going to happen next because it's chaotic.
Yeah. No,
and
for
sometimes we like break PAs at venues or get kicked out of places for being too loud, and we just never know what's going to happen. It's a roller coaster.
That's exciting. You guys definitely put on very exciting shows, and I can't wait to see you guys play again live. Let's move on to, speaking of things doing live, what projects you guys coming up that you want to talk about?
We've got this EP coming out. It's our first EP, really, recorded for Innocent Sinners Records out of Pueblo. They're a small label that focuses on distribution. This guy Ricardo that runs it is super awesome. He's gonna press some CDs for us. It's only 4 songs, but they're bangers. We're happy with what we captured. It's been kind of difficult to get it out. Like, we're lucky we've gotten this far with it. We just been running into some roadblocks here and there, and we're hoping that this mix we just did last week is going to actually see the light of day.
Before I joined, it's like every time you guys had tried to record, there's like a series of setbacks for one reason or another that they haven't been able to put out, like any EP, LP, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So this one is getting mixed right now, and so far it's sounding really good, and hopefully it'll come out by the time that you mentioned Total Chaos a minute ago.
Yeah.
They're coming with U.S. Bombs. We're going to open up
We're opening for that show
at the end of January at
30th.
Streets
of London, January 30th. U.S. Bombs, Total Chaos, Lurchers.
That is exciting. I mean, again, Total Chaos, U.S. Bombs, classics already, and then the Lurchers. I mean, you guys, the sound goes great with them.
We're so stoked. I can't even explain it. It sucks it's on a Wednesday, but all the hardcore U.S. Bombs fans are gonna be there regardless.
Oh yeah.
And it was awesome because we played a show for Detroit. What was their names? We played a show at the Streets opening for this. I think they're a Texas kind of rockabilly band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like a sold out packed house, and we put on a really good show.
Sinners.
That was the local band. We can't even remember.
I don't know who.
We didn't belong on that bill anyway, but we must have affected the Streets of London management because we saw the U.S. Bomb show coming and they didn't have an opening act yet, so I just emailed Peter Orr, and I'm like, hey, can the Lurchers open? And he's like, hell yeah. So
right on, man.
We've been kind of stoked about that show coming up. It's probably going to be our biggest yet, and hopefully it'll open some doors, and hopefully we'll have this EP so we could actually sell some of this stuff to people.
And when is that again? January
30th at Streets of London.
You heard it, guys and gals. Streets of London pub at January 30th. Is there a time? 7 p.m.?
I'm sure
Nighttime.
We're first.
Nighttime?
Yeah.
Yeah, we open, and then Total Chaos, and then U.S. Bombs, and yeah, I'm sure normal show time, 9-ish. You know how that goes. They just got a new stage there, too. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
They put a new sound system. We haven't played it yet, but their last stage was kind of,
It was there.
It was there, and it was fun.
It did what it needed to.
It was an unorthodox shape.
It was. But apparently now they have quite the upgrade, and we're pretty stoked to play that new stage.
Can't wait to rip it open, give it a new one.
Exactly, because before they used to bring in a bigger PA when some of the bigger acts would come, but then when there was normal bands in, they would just have this piece of shit PA that wouldn't get loud enough for me.
Right.
But yeah, that problem will be solved.
Nice. That's exciting. New PA, new show with some amazing bands. This is going to be great. Is there a name for the EP that's coming out? Or is it self-titled?
Lurchers.
Just self-titled.
Right we got the artwork all figured out. Pretty stoked.
And where can everyone go to check out your EP?
Well, it's not even out yet.
Or do you know where, I should say?
Once it's out, I'm sure we'll have it at Chain Reaction.
Okay.
Probably go down to the CD store and buy it. Blockbuster Music, maybe.
We'll do our best to get it everywhere we can, and hopefully I think Innocent Sinners, with their distribution help, is going to put it in some hands that are going to be pretty helpful.
Nice, yeah. And if you guys want to shoot us a link to when you do have it come out, we'll promote it on our page and get some attention on it for sure.
Exactly. Once that thing is out, we're just going to try to promote the crap out of it for sure.
No, well, and to brag about our listeners really quick, they love supporting the people we bring on here. Every band, every creator we've had come on here, they have shown support for, and I guarantee they're going to want to show support for the Lurchers. And
we appreciate it.
So
it's a rad show.
Yeah, let's get you guys some attention for sure. So we still have about 13 minutes to go. But I know you guys got to get to where you're going to is today. We can either end this shortly, or we can keep this going. Do you guys need to get out sooner than later?
Whatever's clever.
Yeah, whatever you want. I have another band practice at 2.
Okay.
What time is it?
It's 12:37 right now.
Oh yeah, so it's fine.
Okay, cool. Hey, no problem, man.
We can just keep
going.
Doing stuff.
No worries. So you're mentioning roadblocks. How's that been overcoming these roadblocks? I mean, I know we've kind of talked a little bit offhand here and there, and I've talked with Eli a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you guys do, face everyday things that everyone else does. So how do you guys overcome that?
A lot of our band roadblocks early on were personality conflicts. Like I mentioned, we had a bunch of drummers before David. The first one, he was kind of an angry man. He just had a lot of anger issues, and he would drink a lot, and then racism would come out.
Oh.
And I can't tolerate racism.
Right.
And so we decided, well, we had to have another dude lined up before we could kick that dude out. So the bass player, John, knew of a dude, and we brought in the second drummer, and he worked out great. He's the one that's on those CIA recordings.
Oh, okay.
But then more personality conflicts from a different angle there. We tried, like, those CIA recordings were actually going to be our first EP, but here's another roadblock. The dude that was recording it for us at the Colorado Institute of Art, he was like graduating the next month, and we needed to get back in there and put some more guitar tracks in and do some gang vocals and stuff like that. But once he graduated, it's like the school just yanked his keys from him. And so we were only able to get those 2 recordings back, and they weren't even mixed or mastered or anything like that. So it's like, well, I guess that's what we got out of that.
Oh, jeez.
We tried to record again with the previous drummer who had the capabilities to do so in his basement, but it just did not work. He had ideas that clashed with our ideas, because we're more like, we just want to record it live, like the way we really sound.
Right.
We don't want to paste shit together and like chop it up like all the Fat Records albums. Like, nothing against that stuff, but we're more organic.
Yeah.
Like, we want it to be real. Like, if we could, we'd probably record it all analog with tapes.
Right.
So that EP never saw the light of day either, but finally we got this dude, and we're at a level that we've never been at, and we captured these 4 songs really well somehow. And we mixed it really well, and we think it captures our true essence more than anything we've tried. And maybe there was a reason those other recordings never saw the light of day, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is the one. We're just hoping it comes sooner than later.
Yeah, no, I mean, that definitely sounds like a very up and down like process, and I think that's really awesome of you guys to stick to your guns of where you're at your best playing with recording, because I'm trying to think where you're coming from with having to pace everything. I can understand where that would put a block in your creative process as you're writing and playing, to have to redo like the same riff over and over, or the same vocal over and over. Like,
yeah, and granted, we've got more songs now and stuff like that, but we tried to pick our 4 most diverse from each other so we could show our range.
Yeah.
I think that we've got another version of that My Own Eyes on there, and it
nice.
Sounds even way better than the other version, in my opinion. It's more modern, and we've evolved so much with this guy.
Yeah, David, what do you think? Is there any roadblocks that you want to touch on? You don't have to. It's okay.
I've kind of removed my personal roadblocks. You say, how do we stick to this and keep like persevering, even though they've had setbacks? And
right
before I joined them, I had many setbacks, and so last year I just my New Year's resolution was to focus on the drums like I haven't done since I was 13 years old.
Right.
Because I've been in a series of bands where I played guitar and bass and was the front man, but I'm really a drummer at heart. So after many tribulations and trials, I've refocused on playing the drums, and so these guys are giving me the chance to
right on, man.
We'll see what happens with it, and yeah.
More power to you. More power to you.
And I'm sure the other dudes would touch on roadblocks as well. Like, a lot of our band roadblocks stem from like personal lives roadblocks. Yeah. Like, John's had some bad luck. Like, he just broke his leg skateboarding down a hill with his dog, and he was in bad shape for a while, and he couldn't get a job because of his broken leg and stuff like that. But everything seems to be on the up and up. It's just like, everything, we're like hanging on the edge, waiting to like fly, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You guys are right about there. I mean, I can see it. I know I've talked with CPRA, Phil over there, and he can see it. Like, you guys, you're ready, and we can tell you're ready. And that's why we wanted to bring you on here as well. We want to interview you, is because you guys, are ready for that push. You're ready to get that more attention. I mean, in our opinion, I know I probably shouldn't speak for you guys.
I just want to play more shows. I just love, like, I want to play the drums every day, and I have no other choice but to keep going with it.
Right on.
So I can't go backwards.
Eli's
persevere, like you said.
Whether he likes it or not, Eli's kind of the leader of the band because he was the first member. That's how I see him anyway.
Right.
And I respect his licks because they bring something out of me that I've never had brought out of me.
Nice.
But he's been around the block in this town, so I respect him a lot for his past bands. He was in a lot of really cool bands like drawing a blank. Super Buick was one of them.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day, they were pretty big, touring and stuff. 26th Street Disciples, he was also in.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that was what the lead singer of Spells was in that band.
Okay.
Gosh, I can't think of the band that John, the bass player, was in. He's from Oceanside in San Diego, California. He's been here for about 10 years.
All right.
But just everything that he does fits completely with what Eli's doing. They're like brothers, pretty much. John's like his little brother, and so he picks up things really fast. Like
they're real tight together.
Nice.
They
really
play together real well.
Yeah.
And that that goes back to what we said about this synergy between you guys, because you can see that. You can see the camaraderie and you guys playing off each other real well. It kind of sounds like you two, man, David. You guys play off really well when you're playing live, and then Eli and John. Eli and John also do the same with each other, and it kind of like makes this circle that works well together.
Yeah,
it's that whole metaphor of like what a centipede, if all the legs are going in the right direction, kind of thing. I guess. Exactly. I don't know if that's the right metaphor.
I thought you were going to talk about an Ouroboros of eating itself.
I mean, we can. I don't know if that would still apply, but.
I hope not, yeah.
Well, we're almost at the end here, so I'm going to throw the same question to you guys that I do to every band that comes on. Is there any stories that you want to share from a punk show that you have played or that you've been to that have been crazy that you want to share on the podcast?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, what comes to my mind instantly is like we had one night where we were booked for 2 shows in one night, and we were stoked about it. So our first show was at Gary Lee's, and we get there and we're playing, and like after the first song the PA blows and the sound guy's like blaming me for my microphone because I use a harmonica mic instead of a regular mic just because it gives me a cool distortion.
Okay.
But he couldn't figure out the PA situation, so I actually had another PA in my car. So during our set time, I ran to my fucking car, and I was driving back with my PA, and then I get a call from David saying, it's back running. So I get up there and to do our second or third song or whatever, and it fucking blows up again. And so I'm basically just like dancing and like miming for the rest of this song, and we're just
hyping
like, fuck it. Yeah. And then the next show was at Three Kings later that night, and that was a really good show, and it made up for that.
Well, at Gary Lee's, fortunately, you didn't have to dance around for too many songs because I guess the cops came and busted.
That's right. The cops came for noise. Not only did we blow up the PA, but somebody called the cops because we were too loud at a punk show.
And 2 doors down, there was an outdoor stage with other bands playing.
Yeah, it makes no sense. We just have this legacy of just sound destruction. Like we can't play places with small PAs. We tried playing at that other place, Bowman's, and that PA couldn't hang. I mean, maybe we could start playing at a lower volume, but that's just not our style.
That's bullshit.
We have to go full on or nothing.
Yeah. It sounds like kind of like that was a christening, like punk rock show for you guys. This PA goes out, cops get called, you're running back and forth.
What else could happen? It was nuts.
Like right on, David. Do you have any stories you want to share? It's okay, you don't have to.
Well, when you just say crazy shit happening at shows, I've definitely, been to some shows where I don't know if Houston probably has the longest history. I've told you my Houston story. We played at a warehouse with a half pipe in it, and I don't even know if I should go into all the details.
You don't have to. If you feel like it's going to get you or someone else in trouble, you really don't have to.
Oh, no. Yeah, Cliff Notes version. One girl got kicked in the head a lot by this other girl that lived there. And when she finally got in the cab, she jumped out to receive more kicks to the head. There's a lot of just crazy stuff goes on in Houston, I guess.
Hey, no problem, man. Yeah. Houston.
I got a good old punk story, I guess. The Fatal Flying Guillotines? They're from Texas.
Okay.
I saw them open up for Sonic Youth in '99 in Austin. And they came through Denton. That's where I'm from originally, Denton, Texas. And they played at Rubber Gloves, which I think is opening back up next year. It's got a long history itself. And they just played on the floor, and they're playing these, they just play some dirty Texas-style punk. And they're all dressed like the Lone Rangers. They got little 6-shooters on, and they're playing, and the guitar player throws his guitar on the floor and tries to open up lighter fluid and can't do it, and so hands it to a guy in the audience. He pops it open. The guitar player grabs it, sprays it all over his guitar, pulls out a lighter, can't get it to work. So the same guy that opened up his lighter fluid reached down with his own lighter and lit his guitar on fire, and then the guitarist just grabbed the strap and just immediately picked it up and started swinging it around right at people, because they were just playing on the floor in front of the stage.
Oh, okay.
And so everyone just ducked right in time for this guitar to just start flying around him with fire shooting out from it. And then he started smashing it on the ground and fire shooting everywhere out of it. And
the Fatal Flying Guillotine?
Yeah, they're great.
Why.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah, they're really good. I don't know if they're probably not a band anymore. I don't know, but
we can look them up.
Just good shit. Just fun stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. Well, we are at the end of this interview. Thank you, Matt and David, for coming on. This has been great. It's been great.
Thanks for having us.
Don't forget, what's your show again? January 30th?
January 30th, Streets of London. We open for US Bombs and Total Chaos.
All right, and do we have a type of release window for the EP that we can give everyone? If not, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully in a month.
All right.
Well, I guess we still have to get the CDs pressed and all that shit, so...
We can update you.
Yeah. We'll let you know as soon as it's ready.
All right, ghouls and gals.
Bunch of red tape. Lots of red tape.
Right. No, I understand. All right, ghouls and gals, you've heard it. January 30th at Streets of London Pub. Make sure you check out the Lurchers. If you're here in Denver, if you're coming by Denver, stop by. See a good punk show. Get yourself living a little. Also, keep your eyes open for their soon-to-be-released EP. So, all right, guys. Thank you for coming on again.
Thanks for having us, man.
And, podcast over. Bye. There you have it, ghouls and gals. That was my interview with Matt and David from the Lurchers. Please come out and support them at their show January 30th with Total Chaos and US Bombs. It's going to be an awesome show, and I'm going to have a good time. You guys are going to have a good time. Yeah, let's just show them some support. Also, keep your eyes open and peeled for their EP, their self-titled EP to come out here soon. Yeah, with that being said, if you want to support the band, which I know you guys do because you're amazing listeners, please click the links below in the detail notes. And, give them a follow, listen to the music, and thank you again for tuning in. All right, we'll check you next time. Let's get right into the song, My Own Eyes.
I don't believe in the light cutting out